national capital of Italy is the center of modern Italian government. The effort to create a unified Italian government is the story of our film. The story begins in 1805 with Napoleon, a man of Italian parentage. As a French emperor, Napoleon in 1805 invaded Italy, a loose collection of independent, almost feudal states. As King of Italy, Napoleon instituted a number of reforms. For example, the single enlightened Napoleonic Code called for a number of political and civil reforms. Among these were land reforms. The peasants were allotted more farmland. Freedom of the press was encouraged. Such reforms stimulated the hopes of Italian nationalists who wanted a unified country. This hope seemed destroyed with the defeat of Napoleon. Losing Napoleon's protection, Italy fell under the domination of Austria and the Austrian Prime Minister, Prince Metternich. Metternich headed the Congress of Vienna, which in 1815 redrew the boundaries of Europe. Metternich proposed the restoration of the former Italian rulers, and at the close of the Congress, the Italian peninsula was carved into 7 main territories: Sicily, the Kingdom of Naples, the Papal States, the Duchies of Tuscany, Modena and Parma, Lombardy, Venetia, which was occupied by Austria, and Sardinia-Piedmont. There were several obstacles to unifying these states. Rome was the source of one major obstacle. In Rome, highly placed members of the clergy feared that if Italy were unified under a single government, the church might lose some of its temporal influence. So many clergymen refused to support the cause of Italian unification. A second obstacle to unification was regional differences. In northern Italy, centers of industry were developing. In the south, however, the people were mostly uneducated peasants who scratched a bare living from the poor soil. Despite these regional differences in Italy, groups of patriots formed, part of a movement called the Risorgimento, seeking out those political figures who blocked the way to reform government. These patriots, often by stealth, agitated for free government between 1815 and 1820 through such means as assassination. These patriots thus hoped to provoke general uprisings that would end the injustices of the ruling governments. Between 1820 and 1830, there were uprisings, but all failed. In 1830, in the city of Genoa, a new group took up the cause of Italian unification. This group, Young Italy, consisted mainly of youthful intellectuals and was under the leadership of Joseph Mazzini, a brilliant lawyer. Mazzini was one of the great moving forces of nationalism in Europe during the 19th century. To get some idea of Mazzini's strong influence, let's listen as 2 members of Young Italy persuade a friend to join their movement. Our setting is a tavern in Genoa. The year is 1830.
A patriot towards the people of Italy.
Of course I'm a patriot, but what would you have me do?
Giorgio, we want you to join Young Italy with us.
Our leader Mazzini has called for democracy in Italy. He says a democracy is a government for the progress of all, through all, under the leadership of the wisest and the best.
And he wants us to bring this about. Mazzini says place the youth at the head of the insurgent masses. You do not realize what a strength is in these young men.
You mean revolt? That's been tried before, and hundreds were killed.
Yes, but we would all rise up at the same moment.
The tyrants wouldn't stand a chance.
We would have an independent republic. Look, read what Mazzini has written.
Our Italian republic would be radiant and would move as an angel of light among the nations that thought her dead. as an angel of light. All right, I'll join Young Italy.
While Young Italy worked to unify Italy as a republic, another plan to unite Italy as a constitutional monarchy was being formed in the Kingdom of Sardinia-Piedmont. The King of Sardinia-Piedmont, Victor Emmanuel II, was the only constitutional monarch in Italy. In the mid-19th century, Count Cavour, the mastermind who shaped the successful plan to unify Italy, was the Sardinian Prime Minister. Here at his ancestral home, Cavour occasionally worked on his plan to unite Italy. To understand Cavour's plan, listen to this conversation between one of Victor Emmanuel's court officials and an aide sent by Cavour.
Count Cavour asks that you give this to His Majesty at once.
Sardinia. What does he mean? Sardinia will lead our country to high destinies. Here again, Cavour spouts unification. But every revolution, every uprising, every Italian effort for freedom has failed.
This time, Italy will not go it alone.
What?
Europe will do the job of unification. The nations of Europe for centuries have interfered in the affairs of Italy for their own good.
So?
So, according to Count Cavour, they will now interfere for Italy's good.
But I don't see
Here,
how...
let's look at the map.
To unite northern Italy, Austrian troops must be driven out of Lombardy, Venetia. We Sardinians can't do it alone. We need help. France will give us that help.
Why France?
Because we'll be their allies in a war.
Against Austria?
Not right away. First, we join the Crimean War against Russia.
Russia?
Yes. Our allies in the Crimean War will be England and France. When the war is over, we have two powerful friends.
England and France.
Exactly. Next, we trick Austria into declaring war on Sardinia. Who comes to our rescue?
France, of course.
Right. Together with the French, we drive the hated Austrians out of Italy. And then, unification for the northern provinces.
The plan worked, and in 1859, Austria was maneuvered into declaring war against Sardinia. And as Cavour had foreseen, the Sardinian army was joined by Napoleon III at the head of crack French troops. Though Austria was not completely driven out of Italy, the war had triggered successful popular uprisings in several cities. The citizens of these areas voted to join the newly established Kingdom of Italy. By 1860, this unified area included Sardinia, Lombardy, Tuscany, Modena, Parma, and the Papal State of Romagna. Savoy and Nice were ceded to France. Now came an effort to unify southern Italy. The leading role in this effort was played by Joseph Garibaldi, the liberator of southern Italy. So powerful was Garibaldi's personality, he was able to enlist an army of 1,000 fierce volunteers. This bold group of patriots in 1860 sailed from Genoa with the daring plan to liberate southern Italy from its despotic rulers. At Marsala, Sicily, Garibaldi landed. Today, this statue near Marsala commemorates the army of the 1,000 who fought their way against enormous odds through Sicily. Garibaldi then invaded the mainland, moving northward in a series of battles through the Kingdom of Naples. The showdown battle came at the Volturno River, where, amid bitter fighting, Garibaldi and his army defeated decisively the forces of the King of Naples. Garibaldi's campaign had progressed almost too well. Fearing Garibaldi might next take Rome, which was protected by a French garrison, Cavour sent an Italian army to meet Garibaldi's volunteers in Naples to prevent what might become a civil war. Garibaldi met with Victor Emmanuel and agreed to withdraw from Sicily and the Kingdom of Naples in favor of Victor Emmanuel. During 1860, Sicily, Naples, and 2 more papal states voted to join the Kingdom of Italy. Further unification took place in 1866, when Austria finally ceded Venetia. Only Rome now remained outside the kingdom. Rome, historically the capital of Italy, was also the seat of the Catholic Church, which continued to oppose unification. Thus, Rome was the center of a bitter dispute between government and church officials, a dispute expressed here by an Italian state official and a papal legate.
Monsignor, I put it to you bluntly. The Kingdom of Italy desires Rome as its capital.
The Pope is aware of that.
For the Pope to have French troops defend the city against such a desire amounts to an insult against the Kingdom of Italy.
Since the dawn of Christianity, the popes have ruled over the political affairs of Rome. Your king, Victor Emmanuel, proposes to usurp these powers.
I will not listen. Rome was, is, and always shall be the capital of Italy. To have Rome as our capital is not merely a right, it is a necessity.
Then you mean you won't stop short of war? The Pope has already stated that Victor Emmanuel is a usurper, forgetful of every religious principle, despising every right, trampling upon every law. So now, I put it bluntly to you. If Victor Emmanuel dares to take Rome by force, France and every other Catholic nation will crush him and the Kingdom of Italy.
The Rome situation remained stalemated until 1870, when Italian troops rushed through this gate in Rome and captured the city in September, following the removal of French forces. King Victor Emmanuel immediately ordered a plebiscite taken. And by an overwhelming vote, the people of Rome in 1870 declared their desire to join the Kingdom of Italy. This massive monument to Victor Emmanuel in today's Rome commemorates the final unification of Italy. In 1929, a relatively small part of Rome was termed Vatican City, and to the present day, it exists as the temporal independent domain of the popes. Totally separate is the government of Italy. This government represents a nation of people who fought hard for their unity and independence. Today, Italy is a strong and vital force in the affairs of Western Europe.